Hello, this is Arvind from SEO Wolf. Today, this will be a little longer podcast than usual. So, today we'll be putting the structure of a sample sales letter. So, I'll be breaking it down for you. I put in a link below of what a structure is, what I put in the SEO Wolf site for a sample sales letter. This is not the perfect, but it's enough to get you started. So what I put down is points in that page. I want you to just open that page, and even if you don't open that page, that is fine. I'll just read out the points and explain to you what exactly it is and how it makes sense. So you'll be able to, hopefully at the end of the day, write a decent sales letter on your own. Okay, so let's get started. The first point here is pattern interrupt. So this comes from a NLP perspective. A lot of times, those hypnotists, when they used to do it, they had to interrupt the pattern of how a normal person does is something. A very common example is like when you go to shake someone's hand, the other person's hand will also come out to shake. That is something that, as a reflex, it comes up. If you break that pattern of shaking the hand, if you just hold the person's hand, this is how they used to. The hypnotists used to take people in trance. They used to interrupt something of a pattern that already someone has in mind. If you do that, it creates kind of a confusion, and it creates a state that people are open minded to listen to what the other person has to say. So this is the first start of the sales letter. You don't have to go in so deep and so high level, or maybe that kind of stuff as a hypnotist. But you, if you can find something that gets their attention in the sales letter, that is good enough. So that is the first pattern interrupt is the first one of the sample sales letter. The second is you ask a core desire question. So you'll be only be able to ask this kind of core desire question if you have done good market research on your market, and they know, and you know what the person that you're selling to has something that what are their questions, what are their fears, what are their dreams, what do they think about, what are their values. So if you know those, you'll be able to ask a core desire question, that what do they want to do. So the other one is agitate past failures. Why we are doing this? So if you know how those sales letter that used to come about, they say that our sales whatever was taught before in sales training was first you have to tell the problem, then you have to amplify the problem, then you have to tell the solution. So that is how sales processes were made in those early 90s and 80s. So this is something that we use from that to agitate those past failure and the questions here of how it is done to further intensify the problems, that how it is there. So once you have made about the problems, you've identified the problems and you've touched the nerve on it, then you have to introduce yourself, because you have to tell them from where it is coming through, who are you, how you can solve the problem, if like you are the solution, or like how you have also gone the past. You have to just introduce yourself, how you qualified to be talking about it, how you have to qualified to be telling them about this. The other point is next is high drama. So now basically high drama, what they mean here is you have to tell a story kind of that engages, because if you just go on past failures and all, it becomes kind of unpleasant for your reader. So just I think to break this, you have to put a story there, so that you can carry it forward, so that you can give your backstory, that which is the next point, that how this happened to the past with the same, how you are able to do this solution, that you're able to give it to them. You have to go through that. And in the backstory, the next point is identify the problems. So I think I'm just here trying to see if you've not slept or you got bored till now. So just if you're not open the letter, you open it with me, so that if you're not able to follow through, just open the sales letter, and so just read all the points once, and just hear me out again, or if you want to start this podcast again, just start it again if you're getting confused what I'm talking about. So just open that later if you want. If you're still following through, just listen me out, hear me out till the end, and you'll know what I'm talking about. So next is identify the problem. So you have to identify the problem. What is the root cause of the problems? So usually here, what happens is as copywriters, what they do is you have to identify the problem, but you have to make sure that you identify it in such a way that it doesn't blame the customer, that you're saying that you have to find out something that they they don't think that something that is beyond their control, it is something that they can control. So that is this the kind of identification you have to put of the problem, how it is, and how you have dealt with it, how you before you're giving a third party perspective to take away from the pain, because you're putting something, if you're talking about something that introduces a lot of pain, you have to kind of put it at the third person. So like before, what happens is some life insurance salesmen, when they do, they it is very difficult to like talk about that see sir, if you die what will happen. So if they use that kind of language, the customer is not very comfortable. So what they do is they kind of a third they use kind of a first person, they use their own examples, or they use a third person thing, that the person that they used to know, that they died, and maybe they didn't have insurance and what happened. So it is very usual to use this. It is not something that is different. It is used all the time in sales all over, and maybe the customer also understands why it is being used, so they are comfortable with it. Don't think that it is something that you are using a story. So you're helping them. It is kind of that kind of thing. So, but don't make it false. Let the story should be honest. The story should be true if you're using these kind of stories. So don't use those kind of stories that are wrong, but understand that if you're using those, you'll be going through all this story in the high drama, that backstory. You identify the problem, then you come up with the epiphany that yes, this is the solution to the problem. Once you get those, you get some signs of success, that yes, once you find out the solution, you have to tell them that yes, you have got the signs of success of how it is done. So how I used this was okay, maybe I didn't can't talk about it my sales letter here, but wait, I'll tell you how you can use this. Once you say you were swimming, you found out that you're not able to swim because you're not able to hold your breath, and every time you were swimming, and every time you came up to take your breath open, your body used to come up, and it stopped you from swimming. But you get an epiphany that maybe if you just tilt your head sideways to take the breath, your whole body will not move, and you'll still be able to take the breath. So this is what professional swimmers, or like this person who you learn swimming does, but beginners don't get this. So though once you do this kind of sideways breathing, you get some faster results. You take the last faster, and you get some signs of success. And I'm using a very common example here to just explain it to you. So it is not exactly. Uh, it's just for example purpose. So while you're swimming there, once you get to success, you understand. Wait, there's a conspiracy why people are not able to swim faster, because all they think about is maybe they used to stroke faster, use faster strokes, or they need to be fit and this and that. But the real conspiracy behind this swimming is you have to learn how to take your breaths, and you have to learn how to not take your breath with your nose, and you have to take your breath with using your mouth. So you find out all of the beginners, there's a conspiracy that they don't understand. So I know it's conspiracy what I'm telling you, it's not exactly the word, but it is in your context here of was a sales person, of the sales letter that you're writing. You have to find it out in such a way. So this is all going on in the backstory of how it is done. So once the conspiracy is done, once you find out that you can swim using your mouth and not your nose. You have rapid growth. You find out that you are not stopping all the way. Every time you're trying to take a breath, and you are able to swim more regularly. Your stamina improves, and in general you like going to swim because you're not always stopping every time, and you can swim consistently, and you get a rapid growth here. So for case studies, so for example, if someone does that, they become a case study on their own. If someone does it swimming and they find out, but if you're someone who's selling that as a concept, that I'll tell you that this is a conspiracy, that how swimmers can learn this simple technique to make their swimming faster without uh, maybe without fast without any effort on physically. So if you do this for a swimmer, this becomes a case study that you've done it for two or three swimmers. You've taught them how they can swim using their mouth instead of nose. This is how it is done. So the hidden benefits. The hidden benefits with this is, say we are selling someone how they can swim using their mouth by turning sideways instead of breathing through your nose or just coming up for air. So this is something as an example product that we're selling here. So the hidden benefits that might come with it is you might swim faster, you might not get stop so many times, you might do it more regularly, you might like swimming more, you might eventually, even if your strokes are not good, you might have a better stamina, and you might lose weights here, lose weight also if you're swimming more often. So this all will come under hidden benefits. Now the next point is the big lie. So you could say, if you're selling something like this, the big lie could be a lot of the swimming instructor, all they focus on is just grab something on the railing and just paddle your feet, and beginners just for 4 or 5 days they keep paddling their feet, keep paddling their feet. When it is not something for young children, it is okay, but someone who has run his own life, who has walked his own life, they might have the physical skill of paddling their feet. So this becomes kind of a chore. It is not something that might teach you actually to become a better swimmer, although you need a practice for that. So you could say that as a big lie. So this could be a big lie. And common enemy, the next point is common enemy. So what could be the common enemy? So the other thing for the common enemy is mm, mm, you have to find out what is the reason why people are not doing this. Yes, sorry. I'm sorry. So the common enemy, we are now finished with this swimming story, that why it is done. We have finished the big lie. Now for the common enemy is, it's kind of a copywriting concept where you have to find out, uh, you have to put out that this is not your mistake. That if you say to someone that the reason you are not able to do this is, maybe if you're not able to lose weight, is because you eat too much, or maybe you don't exercise. If you say something like that, it might come across, the person would not like it. This, even though if you're using in personal development, if you use this kind of common enemy, uh, sorry, if they use this kind of example, it is good for you. But if you're marketing something, if you tell someone that this is your problem, this is, maybe you should also do something about it, you are not going to sell products, period. If you tell the customer that they have to do something, it is their fault, you are not becoming, I'm not saying, if you're not talking about whether that being a truthful or not. You are being truthful here, you're still being truthful, but if it's a sales letter, it is not a personal development book they want to read, they want to buy something. So here you're putting, if you're selling something, if you're using a sales tool, the common enemy here would be you're telling them that people don't want you to know all this. If they knew, if people, everyone knew all this, how would the swimming instructors make money? It'll be just 1 day class. If they do paddle and they tell people this and that, they don't want to tell everyone how the exact techniques work. If they told you, they might not be able to charge for 30 days. They don't tell everyone. They don't want everyone to know. I know this is too extreme for the swimming example here, but you can fill in whatever niche market that you're doing. So this is kind of a common enemy that you can do. You have to take the blame away from them. You have to blame a common enemy that this is the reason why they're not getting results. You cannot tell them that they're not getting results because they're lazy. You have to tell them there is something outside of the outside that they now have the control over. That is the common enemy why they're not there, so that you have a relationship with the reader about this. So use it wisely, because if you do it too overtly, it'll come off, and you don't want to do something that is negative here. So these are powerful sales tools. Use them wisely. The next point is formal introduction. Formal introduction, you've already introduced yourself as a person here. In the formal introduction, now you'll be introducing the product here, who you are, what it does, and this is your product. If you use this whatever your swimming method, that will get you results in faster time without faster faster strokes. If this is kind of your product, you're telling them. So this is here, you'll be introducing your product, and you have to tell them the pain and the cost. In the next point here, we have the pain and the cost. What will be the pain that will they get if they don't learn this, and what is the cost? You have in this here, you have to basically you're talking about the difficulties and how, if they don't get this product, what is the pain associated with it, what is the cost associated with it. Maybe it is time, maybe it is money, how it will do. Here we are doing the negatives. Here the positive will be using the ease and speed. Maybe it will make their life faster, easier, or they'll be able to do something easier. So it can be a positive or a negative. For your product, they might not be both, but it is good that you have both. But even if you have only ease and speed, you can use that. And the next point, we have main benefits of your products and services. Here it will be putting all your bullet points of your whatever you have decided of your products. You'll be, if you've already told the products, you will be repeating them, or you'll be finding out new things about your benefits of your products. So here, if you look closely, it says main benefits, not main features. A lot of people mistake that when they're putting out features. So make sure you're not just putting features on your sales letter, you're putting the benefits of what those features do. This is important. Last, we have the call to action. You have to ask them to make action now, to send you money now, to send the email address now. Because if you take away the call to action, you are just someone who is talking to them. You're not making a sales here. So this is the most important aspect of your sales letter. You have to tell them in detailed instruction clearly what they have to do, what action they have to take in this. And we will be doing this. We'll be doing it 2 times the call to action. This is the first call to action. If the product someone is already sold here, they should not go on to the entire sales letter and read if they're already sold on the product. Here there should be a call to action to get them to buy the product here. But if someone is still not sold, we still have 2-3 ways to build the offer. So the next point is social proof and testimonials. You'll be offering a hopeful, and make sure you get good testimonials, and it should be compliant. You have to take permission from someone whose testimonials you're using. You have to show some kind of social proof. Social proof is something that others are also liking your product. So that is a kind of a term for social proof. Testimonials, how they're happy with it. And now you have to make offer. You just have to explain the offer. You have to get to it, how it comes up, that you should do this. Here it is not the same as before the call to action. We use the call to action before, so that if someone is already sold, they buys it, but the sales letter is still going on. You have to make the offer, you have to build a value in the next place. You have to again, what we used in the ease of pain and the pain and cost, you have to use this to build the value further of the product, how it is just not a commodity, how it will solve a bigger problem that is more than the price. That's the next point, fake price to emotional cost. You have to use those points that I told you to make those emotional cost, how much it is actually, how it actually costs much less if you use this product instead of not using it. So the emotion next is emotional flows. So some people are so biologically, some people buy emotionally. So but if you're using a sales letter, we have to use both options. Before, what we were doing, we were selling them practically how a logical decision how they should buy it. But now is an emotional close. Emotional close, you can use this, how if someone uses this, how you can, if you're using this, how you can spend more time with your kids, if you know, learn how to finally swim, and how some people would be so proud of you, how your maybe a spouse would be proud of you, how your friends will respect you more, or those kind of things you can put in your emotional close. And bonuses if any, but yeah, it is good idea to put the bonuses. This is the next step. You can put the bonuses if they're there in the products. It is good to have time based bonuses, that if they buy now, they get a bonus if they take action now. So this is the final call to action. So this is the final one. You make sure by this time you use everything in your arsenal to sell the person or the product. So now is the call to action. And if you see last, there's a PS. So usually you write it in letters. If there's something more, you can write it, and this is up to you. So if you want to put something here, you can put it, like there are only 50 things left, or anything else in the bonus you can put. So that is optional. If you don't want to put a PS, that is completely fine. This is the format that I've given you. Try to use this format to create a letter. I guarantee you it will be better than any other that you'll be writing from scratch, or not writing, as in it's not a copy that you'll always be writing better than this from scratch. But if you're just starting out, if you use this format, it will be much better to use it according to this format that I've given you. So try this out. Anyways, thank you for listening to SEO Wolf. That was a big one for the podcast here. Make sure this message will already, this page to the link will already there. Consult this link while you're listening to this podcast. And that's all for now. If you have any questions, you can write below. Thank you. This is